Now there's somebody there. Hi, Rob.
Hello.
Okay. Can one of you guys go on the Zoom and just see if you can see zyBooks? It says I'm sharing my screen, but on my end, I just see that blue weird screen. Oh, Rob can see it. Okay, cool. Thank you. I can see your chat. Thank you,
Okay.
thank you. You can see it. You're doing something right. It doesn't show right for me, but that's okay. I think we're good. Something's recording, something's sharing, and people can hear me. I think we're good. So one of the things that you'll learn with programming is that, or when we're working through zyBooks, it is that interactive textbook, but you can also install a compiler or an IDE. And if you have a computer or laptop, if you're working on a laptop as well as if you're working in the classroom here, I do recommend that you install some sort of IDE, because as we're working in Python, as we're working in zyBooks, it kind of limits what we can do. For example, if we're coding a program down here in one of these sections, we have to code it in a way so that our input matches what they expect in order for us to get the grade that we're supposed to get. But that's not how you code out in the real world, in work. So what I recommend you do is to get some sort of compiler to run code in as well, and that also will help you troubleshoot some of the issues that you have in zyBooks. So the first chapter does some sort of training and what to expect and how zyBooks interacts with your code, but in the real world, you use some sort of IDE or compiler. So there's two that I recommend. They're in the resource folder, and you can do any one that you want. Python's a free language, so there's a lot of free open source compilers. One that I use at home is called Spyder, SPYDER, and spider.ide.org. You can just download that and install it, and it's a very simple IDE for Python. Now here on campus, we have something called PyCharm. Let me see if I can launch that. If you just, on your computers, you can type PYCHARM and it'll come up. Is it what? Is it different from Spyder? Yes, it's a different compiler. So those are just the two that I've used. And I've used Spyder more, but let me see if I can share onto Zoom this screen here. So this is PyCharm, it looks very similar to how Spider's set up. Let's see. I close that project and just, oh, sugar. I need this, do all that. There we go. Was the wrong screen. So PyCharm's another IDE, and why you would want to use this is because in zyBooks we're really limited to code so that it our grade matches their back database of answers. So we have to code in that way, and it restricts us. But when we use a compiler, we have more freedom to see what maybe sample output looks like, or how to code things a little differently. One of the ways you can use it to help you learn is like on quizzes, you'll have parts of, you'll have questions that'll say, what does this code output? And you can take that code, copy it, and put it into a compiler like PyCharm or Spider, run it, and you can see exactly what the output is. So that's one of the benefits of having an outside project or an outside IDE. Here, we just create a new project. You can Google instructions. And then once you create a new project, I'll have to share my window again. Back there. Then you right click over here in the project area and do a new Python file. And then what that opens, I'll just call this test. Share that real quick. What that opens is kind of this black screen where you can code anything you want in here and run anything you want. So that's where I said, like, if you're running a quiz question and you want to see what the output is going to generate, or even some of the challenge questions will say, what does this output generate? And if you can't figure it out, or if you're learning, just copy the code that's there in zyBooks or whatever example you're looking at, paste it into here and run your output. So this isn't something we have to use in this class, but it's a helpful tool to help you learn the coding basics. Any questions, you guys, here? Let me just grab on the internet some sample Python code. I'll show you. Should just use ChatGPT, but here I just pasted. I can't wait. Just make it a little bigger. Trying to make that zoom in, but it's not working, and I'm not going to mess with the recording and everything. But I just threw in some code that has a couple comments at the top, and then it has a value, and then enter in a value. So if you're learning and you don't know how that works, instead of coding it, we can throw it in this compiler. Then we can run the code. I'm going to hit the run option up here, looks like a play button. And then you have this output window that comes up at the bottom, and this is your interaction. So it's like you're running a calculator. Here, this one just says enter in a value, so I can enter in 15 or any number, and then I hit enter, and it prints my value, and then my program ends. So that's like user interaction within our code. Now in zyBooks, our zyBooks has that interaction built into the book for us. But again, there's a lot of reasons why we would want to use an outside compiler like this. It gives us way more functionality than what zyBooks does as far as compilers go. So PyCharms, Spider, you get one of those installed on your computer, and you can use any of those for the quizzes that you take or any of the challenges that you're working on. Any questions or on that? No, I know in my face-to-face class we talked about getting an outside compiler last week. We talked about maybe you want to install an IDE or compiler, but it's optional. You don't have to run anything, but it is there. Okay, let me go back to zyBooks and we'll start with zyBooks. So make sure you're logged in. Go to the right share. Yeah. Do you have a question? No?
Yeah. So I was messing around with it a little bit. I was trying to like put a variable name to a number. So does it matter? You have to put those variable rules first, or can you put that in later?
What kind of rule?
So like if you put a word to a number, and then you want it later to be like, you have to do it. And you have to define that number means that word first in your code, or can you put that in later?
Exactly first.
Yeah, no, Python doesn't work kind of like if you've coded in other languages, it doesn't have specific data types like well, it has data types, but you don't have to define a data type. It's all about how you take it in. So everything that you take in as input into Python is a numeric, it's a string value. So, or a letter or character. So if you want to use that as a number to like do a calculation, you have to then convert it to an int or a float. I don't know. I'll come over and see your screen because I'm not sure if that answers your question.
Yeah, you talk about the integer thing.
Yeah, well, like in this is just an input, and that I put in. It says enter a value. I could put in a word there or a number, and it will. All it's doing is printing it out. But if I wanted to use that into a calculation, then I have to convert it to that data type. But let me see your, and that's that's all in chapter 2, but I don't think I understand your question. Oh, you're trying to add 2 plus that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you converted it.
Right. But then my question, I guess, is, does it matter where I do the defining? This defines that word is integer 3, right?
Yeah.
Does it matter where I put it in first before I do calculations to it?
No, yes, it does, because then it becomes a number. Otherwise, if you just had that, or here is defined, it would be trying to add 2 plus a string, because everything by default is string. So now if you just print your variable name, it should be 5.
Right. Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Okay.
But I guess
it does have to be in order.
Okay, so then it reads the code
Top to bottom. Exactly.
So I had it down here. It would be sure.
Yeah.
So I moved it. Oh.
Yeah, because only because it wouldn't give you an error except that you're trying to do a calculation with it right there. So yeah, that's a good question though. Chapter 1 really is just kind of an intro. This isn't too small on everything, but right screen. Okay, the people that are on Zoom, if I'm not sharing any screen, we'll just write it in the chat so I know. I'm not, I don't know, I feel feel like I'm confused by this Zoom stuff. I hate Zoom windows sometimes, they pop up and go away. Hitting share. Okay, cool, thank you, Rob. All right, let's start something then. So chapter 1 is kind of light, but there are some things that I get the same questions about every semester, so I'll want to cover those. It's really just kind of how zyBooks works. So when you're going through, remember we have those 3 types of labs, or 3 types of assignments. Just look at this reporting. We have participation, challenge, and Zy in the labs, which are and you want to do them in that order. So you want to start with participation and challenge. You can do those together. And then the Zy labs are the bigger programs at the end. Now, by the way, these are the numbers for all of my class, but don't feel like you're behind because those numbers include last semester or early summer, and those people are already done. So that's why there's a lot of people done with the end of the material. It's not like everybody worked on this over the weekend. So don't let that freak you out. So you want to, when you start with chapter 1, you want to start with the participation kind of at the beginning and go through these different sections and code the participation and challenges together. Sometimes the participation, especially at the beginning, there maybe just quiz questions, they look like quiz questions, or they're small parts. There's not a lot of interaction, but they're explaining sections, and it's important for you to go through those participation on your own, because that's like reading the textbook. So when you get to challenge sections, that's where it's more of a code that you might do. And then these challenges lead you to the labs where you'll code something more on your own. So let's look at, let's see. First one, I think we'll look at together. Yeah, a lot of it in the beginning is just they really look like quiz questions in the beginning. All right, here is, let's look at 132 challenge. So ideally, and maybe you've already gone through this, but if you haven't, you can go back and do this. So now we've gotten to a challenge point in here, and it's telling us that, okay, we want to look at how to use a print statement that ends with a new line. Now they're pointing out some of these things specifically because then when you get to the lab part, those are some of the things that zyBooks will mark you wrong on. So you have to go back and fix it. So that's the importance of doing the challenges first so that you can do the labs. A lot of the challenges will have multiple sections to them. So when you hit start, then you have these 3 different sections here. The 4 here, in this case, there's 4, and you can jump to different levels. One thing I want to point out is if you get a question that you don't like, you can click on the button, the number again, and it will give you or generate a different question for you. So after you hit start and you're jumping through these, if you're like, this is just a small program, so you don't have a lot of options, but sometimes you'll get a program and you might not have a clue what it's asking you to do, or it might be confusing and you want to see other options. Just click on that number again. So here I'm trying to program something about Joe. Like, say I don't like Joe, I don't want to deal with Joe. I hit the 2 again, and now Joe, well, I'm still dealing with Joe, but now he's nice. Okay, now I'm dealing with Bob. So you can click on those numbers to get different examples. You only have to code one of them. Again, if you don't like that one, click on those numbers and you can see different options. That becomes important or more helpful as we get further into zyBooks and the challenges get more complicated. And then also for me, if I'm helping somebody, sometimes my challenge will look different than yours, but they're going to be very similar. Okay, that's one thing to do with zyBooks. The other, let's start here. This particular challenge is showing us how to do output to the screen. So what they want us to do here, once you hit start, it says, we're not coding anything yet. We're just going to show what the output will be. So this uses a command called print, which is how we print something to the screen. And what we're printing to the screen is everything that's in quotation marks. So in my example, I'm going to say Ron is good, period. And then what we want to do is check our answer. So whatever's on yours, type that in and then hit check and see what happens. So let's see, add the new line. So I'm going to hit check. By the way, this in the quotes, it's called a string literal. So literal is exact. So it's going to look for exactly what's in quotation marks, and that includes spaces and upper and lowercase, and also return statements. So this is saying, okay, our output is nearly correct. This is how zyBooks becomes an interactive textbook is if it's wrong, it will tell you not exactly what's wrong, but it'll give you clues to what you need to fix. Again, this is the beginning, so it's a little bit easier, but it gets harder as you go on. So it's saying, oh, it's expecting a return statement. Create your missing new line by pressing enter on your keyboard. So what it's saying is, okay, let me try this again. After the end of my statement, I have to hit enter and then I can check. And now I've done it correctly. I've got a check mark next to this challenge, and I have a check mark here on this one. And as I go through each of these tabs and I get my check mark, then this tab will turn green. That's when your points get assigned to that challenge. And then it goes back to Blackboard as long as you've created that tunnel, that channel. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Okay. I have a lot of information in Blackboard. I don't want to repeat it unless you have questions. Then you just next through here. I think this one, the rest of this one is pretty self-explanatory. If you go to the third option, this one interacts with a number and a word. So in this example, this shows us how to print something to the screen that includes the value of a variable plus the string literal. So when I run this part, and again, this challenge is showing us how to do this, because when we get to the actual lab, it's going to have you do something like that. So this is where if you gone through the participation and challenges, you either know where to go back to reference, or you know how to do it, or you've written it down as no. So here, mine says Joe. Yours might be something different, but it's going to be similar. So I'm going to say Joe is colon, and then I will put the name or the value of that variable, person, age, and in my case, it's 21 on my screen. And that's because in my code, this is the code I'm looking at. This is something called a variable, person, age, and then this is the value of the variable 21 in that assignment statement. Now, yours might be person's age is 15 or whatever number it is, but whatever number is assigned would then be printed to the screen. So I better put my return statement, because print automatically does a return, and check. Then I'm good to go there. If you have an error, fix the error, so you get your blue check mark. I'm just gonna look around, and I don't, if you're coding on some other section, that's fine, but if you have any questions, are you good with that? Okay. So you're just going through the, okay. Well, what this is saying, what is the output that's generated by the print statement? So in this case, you want to match up with what's in the quotation mark. So that would be a capital U, a capital Y, because it is case sensitive. So then it would say you are, and then take that, no, not equal. So we just, the comma, what that means is it, take that back, it's taking the value of here, which is 22. So it would be 22 right there. Like, this is the code and this is the output. So it takes 22 and it puts it right there. So it'll say you are 22. And then put another space and then finish out the sentence. Not a comma, just a space. Each of these commas here represent a space. And then it'll say years old, period. And then you have to put that period and then hit that enter key. You have to put a period there. Not a space, because there's no period. And then enter. There you go.
The same form right here.
Okay, you see how it interacts? 137, that's a good example. Did anyone, do you have any questions? You guys have any questions?
The last class, I was used to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
137. Let me go back to it's Nikayla had was on 137, which is a participation. But that's one of the questions I get in the very beginning, is the difference between values of variables and then what is your output. So 137 shows a good example. This one here does the same thing, where it's combining the string literal plus the value. But 137, which let me see. I'll come right back to this section in a second. But this is a participation example. So this is an example of what some variables are and what those these are called assignment statements. So those are the values of those variables. So here, what they want you to do is to show us what the output to the screen would be. So in a program, and especially if you've never coded before, there's sometimes a block between the user interacting with the program and then the programmer on the back end. So the programmer would code these assignment statements, and then the user of the program would enter in maybe variables into input statements. So you might the programmer might say, what kind of pet do you have? And then the person using the programmer would say a dog. And then the programmer would code a statement that says, what is your pet's name? And then the user would say Gerald, which is a weird name for a pet, but, and then so on. So you have the programmer that codes things, you have the user that interacts with the code. And what we've normally done as users of computers has been that user that interacts with programs. So we give all these programs data that the programmer has interacted with. And sometimes that's a hard a disconnect at the beginning of coding, because we're doing that back end and the front. So here we're saying, okay, if this is my assignment statements, what shows up to the screen as output? And that would be, you are 22 years old, period. So I'm just inserting the value of whatever was assigned here into this variable, and then prints it. On the participations, you can then check. It'll tell you, again, like the challenge, it'll give you some help if you're wrong or tell you you're correct. And then here's another example where it has the value. These are saying, okay, show me the value of the variable, and then anything in quotation marks is a string literal, and then the commas are kind of like spaces. So this would say, Gerald the dog is 22. And that's it. There's no period and there's no years old, because after it prints 20, after this, there's no comma, quote, years old. So that wouldn't print to the screen. It would just be the value of the variable, the dog, which is the value of the variable, is age, the value of the variable. There's no period at the end. And there's nothing else after 22. So if you were to do that, you're going to get an error, because this part, the programmer didn't add that onto that print statement, so it's not there. Those of you that are on Zoom, the chat does come up for me, so if you have any questions, just throw it in the chat.
Oh, you said the quotations are the strings.
Yeah, this is called what's in the quotation mark here in a print statement is called a string literal, and it's just printing that value to the screen exactly. So and then we have variables. Like these three things, pet name, and age, are variables. Yeah.
Basically, the descriptions are the variables.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the value that variable stores is well, it could be a string or a number. It could vary.
Okay.
It's the value of the variable. So I don't use the whiteboard very easily in, let's see. I need more practice on Zoom live, but they have a whiteboard here.
Well, in the practices, it starts off showing you what variable.
Yeah, it's, if you look at it like a holder, a placeholder,
Right.
and then, okay, I'm not gonna start the whiteboard because it'll stop the screen share, then I'll have to go back. But it's like a block of data.
That's
Right.
not the very first one.
Yeah, I'll write it on the board here. So, anytime you create a variable and you give it a name, that's the name of it. And then the value can change depending on who's running the program. So if what is your name again?
Sam.
Sam. If Sam's running the program, maybe 22, put in 22. But if I'm running the program with my age, that value would be different. I'm 49. Can't believe that. So so you say, but the output stays the same. So the output, what the programmer coded was print age, or they could have done something like print your age and then a comma and then age. Whoops, I need my quotes right there. So if I'm running it with my data, it would print 49. You are, or your, whoops, your 49.
Your age is 49.
Your, yeah, it would say your age 49. So, you know, that's you could, this is the variable name, that's the value of the variable. This doesn't change, but that can change. The value, what's in that block can change depending on who's running it. And as you get through the code, I think that's pretty clear.
Yeah.
Well, you'll see it. See, we were working on this one.
Sam is good.
Sam is good.
Found even the lesson.
Now, once you have these, by the way, once you have those blue check marks, you can, like I jump back and I'm jumping around. They're not gonna go away, it's graded, so don't worry. You can, now I'm gonna hit start again. Mine might reset just because I have an instructor account, but once you hit start again, yours should stay the same. Now I can jump, now I can go to 4 or finish this one, or, you know, and once you finish all of them, like, let's see, this one will say Anne is great. And I'll check that. A check mark. And then the fourth one, Ron is 19 years old. Check. And then you'll see, why I thought that was green for some reason. Maybe it's only green on the labs. It's probably matches the color. So there's blue, orange, and green. But anyway, that check mark there means that you've gotten all of the points for that section. Then those points should transfer back to Blackboard as long as you at some point over in Blackboard, as long as at some point somewhere along the line you have clicked on each one of those ones. Yeah, that creates a tunnel and it will send your points back all the time. It creates that link for you. As long as I have the points set up right, I think I do.
Oh, that's why you said you can get on it. Because I was on it earlier and kind of didn't want to get off, but I had to. I can see how you can get done with the class in this book, and if you just stayed on it.
Yeah. And some people might get done early. I mean, some people have programming experience. Some really enjoy this. So I like programming.
Like a game almost, I thought.
Yeah, it's fun. I did a kind of a student community service project with my programming students in 116 one year, and we went to 5th grade elementary school and taught them how to code. It
Oh,
was-
yeah,
it was
my
so
son
fun.
was in, what was he in, the seventh, eighth grade last year, and, somebody was comparing this to, robotics.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they do a lot of instructions that the same way.
right, coding to make them move.
Yes, yep, that's all that coding is,
So that you told me about that, Sam?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sam compared it to robotics.
yeah, it's a series of steps that
Yeah.
that you give. That's what we're doing. Nikita, what did I say that wrong?
No, you said it right.
Okay, what participation are you on now? Are you good? Are you stuck on one?
Same one.
But well, that's okay. We'll go back.
That same one you guys are on.
You're on this one? Okay. What step?
The first step. I will,
What does yours say? What's in the quotation marks?
Bob is nice.
Okay, so then in this box here, you want to type what's in the quotation marks. So it is exact how it's there. So it would be a capital B, Bob is nice, and then a period. And then in this example, you have to do an enter because it expects the new line. Okay. And then check.
Well, actually, that's, typo, you put a period on.
Thank you. It was my enter, because I thought it was my period.
Oh, yeah, it's, it didn't take my points away when I got it wrong, which is good. So if you're messing around in zyBooks, it won't take points back when they assign it. But for some reason, this one here wants to show you the new line character that print puts in there for us. But if you don't put a enter up here, it's the same print statement, but it doesn't give us that error. So that's one of the weird, quirky things about zyBooks. All right, we're not going to go through all of this, but all of the participation and challenges together, because we will also for those of you who came in who missed it, I did post an announcement. Wednesday we're going to have lab time. I'll be here. You come in and hopefully finish all of the chapter 1.
So I only got 16 out of 91 on my first one because I thought it was just all practice.
Oh, of the whole participation?
Yeah, because I thought it was just practice, so I was not.
Same. I wasn't locking in.
Oh yeah, did you buy it yet? Because if you are just on a temporary, it might not send your points over.
It sent those points.
Okay. Yeah, no, you want to do I always assign all of the participation, meaning not participation in class, but you have to do all of the participation activities in zyBooks for every chapter, all of the challenges, and then I pick and choose the labs and put them in that folder, in zyBooks.
Oh yeah, I just thought it was practice.
Sorry.
I'm already.
Maybe that's why people don't always do that. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought that I was kind of learning at failing.
Yeah. Well, we're only in the second day, so we're good. Sam, you.
I have a question about school down right after 14. 14. The next one.
Right here.
No, that basic input. Down one.
It's like a game though.
Here.
No, but
It
go down
really
one.
is. It really
Yeah,
came on.
I'm confused on 2, why it says print and then nothing, and it still shows up enter your dog.
This one is an empty, like a double space. Do you have empty blank line?
Oh, no, okay.
Oh, really? So what, I see what I wanted. I'll come back to this, so here, enter in a number. See this double space right here?
Mhm.
That's from line 2,
Oh, okay.
blank line.
Okay.
If
I
you-
thought for some reason somehow that prints the first line, but
No,
that didn't make sense.
yeah, if you had 5 print statements, there would be 5 blank lines.
Okay. Got it.
That's a good program, we'll come back to that one, but let me go back up. Kayla, did you finish that one we were working on?
I'm almost finished.
Okay,
I keep getting them wrong though.
that's okay, remember, we have all Wednesday where you can go back and fill in the
Isn't
blanks.
this graded?
It is graded, yeah, but you have all Wednesday still and so on, so you don't have to, finish it all right now. But, click up here. Or you have to hit try again. Okay, and then, click up here, now we can click up here. It has that blank line up there, so we want to, that one out, and it needs to be at the end here. Okay, so now hit check and see. There you go.
Okay, so
Now you can do next.
so because it says each item, how do you know to press enter?
It says it up here in this section. It says press enter, and then also when you didn't have it, if you had it wrong, it will tell you in the error section down here, it'll tell you. So next, and that's the last one, and this one is basically at the end of the print line, it does a new line automatically. So it's showing that you have to, a print will automatically move the cursor down one.
Yeah.
And yes, yep, that's perfect. Okay. We'll go down to that bigger program, the bigger challenge that Sam was just asking about. Let me jump around though real quick. Let's see, I got lost. We were talking about kind of input and output. Get a lot of questions on that. Oh, on the participation too, you can always check out some show answers, to interact, and that will help you if you're not sure. Sometimes with zyBooks, it's confusing what they're asking you. So on this one here, 1.3.6, the participation, it's saying write the most direct single line of code to print the desired string. Yes.
Sorry, everybody, answered this question. I just was confused. Are we graded on the answers or just doing the activities?
Just just completing it.
Okay.
So you can, maybe that was your question too. You can, is it graded? Yes, but you can put in the wrong thing 1,000,000 times as long as you get it right at the end. And you'll get all your points then.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that must have been your question. So here, I'm not sure what they're asking me. Are they asking me to do a print statement that says print num, and let's say I spell it wrong, like this, and then check it, and okay, it's incorrect. That doesn't take off any points or anything.
Oh, okay, maybe I'm just still in the very beginning.
Yeah.
That's why I only have a few points. Okay.
Yeah, and also if you are in the temporary subscription or the free first chapter without buying the full thing, your points might not go back. I don't think they go back until you get your full subscription.
That's going back. They're going back, but I think I'm just like at 1.21.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not even in halfway in there.
And I'll show you how you can see that in just a second, like what you haven't completed and what you have.
Oh, okay. I
So,
think it shows you though at the end of each one.
yeah,
Yep, it does.
yeah. So, yeah, this incorrect, correct, that doesn't take any points off, anything. And once you get your check mark, like I said, once you get this blue check mark, or this, in this case will be orange, then you've got points.
Okay, yeah.
You're done with that, points are done, and then it'll, this section will be there. So here, okay, if you don't know what that is, you can hit show, and then it'll show you again. Oh, they want it to say number of apples, num apples. So then you would type exactly what they wanted you to do.
Okay, yeah, that's why I said I was learning by felt. I was putting in the wrong answer so it could tell me. And then I could figure out how they got it.
Yeah,
And I understood it.
And that's okay, that's fine for the participation there.
Okay.
That's the interactive part of
Okay.
it.
Okay, yeah, that's the awesome part you was talking about.
Yeah. So here, let's see, and then I need a comma, and then num apples, and then I need to capitalize the number. Check. Okay, I'm sort of correct. I put an extra space here. Oh.
Mm.
Okay, I've got 2 errors, so you can see how the interactive, it's kind of nice, it'll say, okay, you got an extra space there, and I forgot to close my parentheses.
Right.
So let me check it again. Cool. Yeah, you don't lose any points for trying that out.
Yeah, a lot of apps though out there grammatically correct you anyways.
Yeah. So if you want to see, like if you said, why am I only showing 16 and there's 91 points?
Okay, right.
If you go up to the beginning of the textbook, like I'm gonna click on the CIS116, and then I'll close that chapter. If you go to the outside, like your textbook, and you should see a percentage for each of these sections, and that will show you where you're getting your points from.
Oh, maybe it's not letting me do that.
And now that
temporary.
might not show in temporary, but once you have your full subscription, it will show like mine shows right here. And that's how you can say, okay, I only have 72% of the participation done. So I need to finish that out. What do I need to finish? Well, I can open up, I can expand it, and I can see, well, I don't have this. It'll show 100% for each person, for each section that you're complete with. I could find someone from my first class. It will look like this. I don't know who this is, but they just started. So yours will be 0, and as you finish sections, then that will fill out, and then you can see what you need to go and complete.
Okay, yeah, on the freebie, it does not. Oh, yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, it might not.
I was trying to get Brian on that Brian.
Yeah. Oh, see, so here, don't mind if I share yours, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
So I can see, okay, now that you don't see that, I guess, huh?
No, I don't see that.
That's because it just doesn't until, did you do the 30-day extension too? Okay, so you can see all the chapters, but your grade won't send over. But I can see it, and this is where I can like go online and help you if I need it. But here, then you can go, oh, okay.
Well, it shows it in Blackboard. It shows, that's where I had 17 points.
Yeah, that's where those points come from. So then I can go, then you would go, okay, I gotta go finish this section because that's not at 100%. I gotta finish this. I have to finish this, and so on.
Ow. Shoot, it's only $89. I guess it was cheaper than what I thought, but still, I can get it free.
I don't know if you could finish it in 30 days. I shouldn't say this on Zoom, but I probably could just put your grade in. After 30 days, that you won't have access to it.
I mean, cause after 30 days, you only have like 2 more weeks in the class, so.
Yeah,
Would you?
I'm not opposed to screwing the system, but I don't know how to, I don't know, nobody's ever done that before. And don't repeat that, anybody, ever.
Well, I did apply to just get it for free, cause you say you can put in a
Yeah,
request to say, hey, I ain't got no money for this. I did tell them that.
yeah. 89, I mean, I know there's a lot of, I hate it. When I was in college, like, textbooks were thousands, it seemed like thousands of dollars. It was ridiculous. And they've gotten a lot better, but still.
I mean, textbooks back in the day, you used to go get them used somewhere too, so you
Yeah,
can get these
yeah.
programs used.
Yeah, the subscriptions you can, right? Or, I mean, you can still sort of get some books, but not when they move them to like this format.
Yeah.
But
Healthy stress.
that's that.
Well, my other class completely just submitted that he is no way at all using the textbook, so he don't, that in the syllabus. Don't buy the textbook.
Yeah.
So, I guess I saved money a little bit.
Are you on this section now?
I'm still on the Apple. It's not working.
Okay, we're gonna go on to, one of the challenges. Let's see which one we wanna do. I think the one that Sam had asked about. Okay,
What's the difference?
oh, you don't have a print statement in front of there. See, it says print should have 2 values inside the parentheses. So you're missing the print in front of there.
Oh, I should have.
Yeah.
Word point.
Yes, lowercase. Is that, yep, is that the command that you want in print?
I don't know why I like that.
Yeah. No space. On chat.
Oh, yeah.
There you
that's what
go.
I'm saying.
Now, I'm not gonna finish the rest of those, so just follow with us right now, and then on Wednesday, we can go back and fill in all those spots. But yeah, it will come together. Okay, let's look at,
Forever. Really good. You gotta use your brain. I like it. You gotta figure things out. I like it. It's a little challenging. I love that. Oh, I should be on it all night. I can do that in a week. Myself. It's monsters in the computer.
okay, we've gone through some, pieces here and there. Let's look at a full program and, okay, this is what the challenges will look like.
You can really use it personally or even in a job. How do you use this in a job? I don't understand why.
Everything on the computer is written with the program. Everything on the phone is written with the program. So that's it.
I was trying to explain to me some of that stuff. Like, oh, okay, yeah. Don't get it. But I get it when you said that.
Okay, so we're gonna go down to 131, which is well, it's a try. It's the start of a program. So go to 131. The next section is the challenge, which is 133, which we'll do together.
Okay, 131. That's way.
I ran out of my tea. I gotta have a water.
137 single print statement of the dog.
Well, 131, which is, it says basic input. Nikayla, are you there at that section? You don't want to go on, do you?
Me?
Do you want to jump? You don't want to jump ahead, or do you want to finish?
No, I'm looking for it. I think.
Oh.
Wait.
Yeah, sometimes it is kind of hard to find things, but you can also see, because there are participation, which are, so I'll say, is it participation or challenge? So that's participation 131, but there's also challenge 131. So if you go up to here, you can kind of see like, yeah, 116. You can see a whole table of contents and then jump to that section. So once you get the subscription, it will, and you expand that, it'll show you those columns. And then you can go to, you can expand even that even further. So 1, 3, and then
Or she's gonna scroll down to
but
it.
this says 131.
No.
Yeah, but that's participation and I'm in the challenge section.
Oh,
Oh, right, oh no, that was 131 challenge. But I'm sorry, this is a try, so look for this one. Look for challenge 133. And if the read, yeah, because the try is just to test things out.
Defend some, because mine went from 131.
So I think we get participation, then a challenge. Okay.
Do you have this one here?
I don't.
It says
Did you
challenge.
think that? I thought you were at the try.
I was at the try.
I found the try.
Okay, yeah, that's good. I'm gonna go to the try and then that challenge 133 is right below it. But I'm gonna start at that try. It's try 131 and then challenge 133. So they do, their numbering system could probably be redone, but they repeat those. So there might be a participation 131 and a challenge 131. Did you find it, Charlotte? Are you in the 1-3 section?
Input, output.
Yeah.
Yeah, input, output, 133.
What, it's, if you have the full.
Exclusively, yeah, I think it's exclusively flat.
No, it shouldn't. I think you've gone farther, yeah. It's up still.
What you see, 132, 139, it's all over the place. 80.
Yeah, because that's participation.
Okay,
So those follow a different number than the challenges.
okay.
They're mixed, the challenges and participation are mixed together.
Just looking at next semester was trying to find a better.
So we're looking for,
bio, you could actually use
One,
one
two,
yeah, for,
I sold
but for
my
blue
English
challenge,
so
so.
price I want for on eBay.
Can you challenges?
Yeah, you can.
But what the only ones I have to worry about is if I can make it test, they're all online.
Oh, 131
Challenge.
challenge. No, okay, so now we know that's where challenge is. Now we wanna go to 1-3-3 challenge, so back down. And it could be very far.
Oh, okay.
I
tried
to
to
this
blue box.
Yep.
133.
Yeah.
I really.
My bad.
I didn't-
Yeah, it's just
All
my
right.
professor, advisor's like, hey, you can sign up for fall if you're now. I'm like,
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so here's the try, and then the next one is.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're gonna stop at the try first.
Yeah, see, you can do both of them, and I already have winter figure out now.
Okay, so we're at the right spot. This try is going to show us how to run a whole program, and that's how the challenges will run. So the challenges will be given, and the labs, you're gonna be given a blank screen, and you're going to code things from the top to bottom. That's how code runs, and you have one line of code, one statement per line. So you can't do like age 1 equals 5, age 2 equals, you can't go left to right like you would read. It's top to bottom. So when you're given a line of code here, and you also have different rules, and the rules we'll learn as we go. But when you're given something like this, and you code it and you're ready to run it, it's saying, okay, we're going to try to enter 3 as an input. So this is where the user of the program is going to interact, and then we're going to look at what the output is. So to do that, once we've coded something which is already there, we're just going to hit run at the top, and then you'll see a console window at the bottom, which is how it looks in any compiler. Like when I opened up PyCharms at the beginning, I had code and then I had an output window at the bottom. And here, this is at the top is in a .py file. This is where the programmer codes something. And then in the console window is where the user of the program interacts with that thing. So in the console, I'm the user of the program. I'm going to enter in, it said enter in 3 for the age of my dog in human years. and then I'll hit enter. So I typed in 3 in the output window, and then the cursor's still there waiting. It's waiting for the user to input something. So once you input a value, you have to hit enter, and then it goes on to the next line of code. What's the next line of code after I do a 3? If I look here, here's the first line that says enter the age of the dog in human years, and it puts it into that. All of what's printed out here is in line 1. So that's my input statement, and then my output statement is at the bottom where it says 3 human years is about 21 dog years. That is all on line 6 and 7. And what happens on the background is calculations or processing. So what a programmer, a user of a program doesn't interact with every part of the program, only the things that call for interaction. Just like if you are using a calculator and you want to find the square root of a number, you just enter in numbers. You don't do the processing. That's on the back end of the calculator. So that's the same thing that's happening here. The background of the computer is calculating how many dog years is 3, or how many dog years is 3 human years, or whatever. That line 4 of this code is all in the background. So we have, in chapter 2, we cover this again. We usually do an input, a calculation, and an output. So we go in that order, take something in, do something with that data, and then print it to the screen. Now this challenge, let's see, what are we doing in this challenge? The challenge is more when we code something with a challenge, we have something that we're going to code kind of like in that full screen. I don't think 133, let's see. Oh, this is just a drag and drop situation where I want you to, okay, which line of code will produce which input. So I guess we could do this one together. Yours might, I don't know if yours looks exactly the same, but you know how sometimes it has different values. Okay, so this says, I think what we're doing is matching up the lines. Man, it's getting hot in here. I feel like it is. Okay, so it says the program reads in integers number 1 and user number 2 from the input. Drag and drop the correct code statement. So how would you write that to read integers into to read integer user number 3 from input, and then output the products of user 1, 2, and 3 together. So when we're reading a challenge, we're often given kind of like a story problem, and then we're given an example. So it says, okay, do this in English words, and then it'll say, so for example, if you enter in 2, 3, and 5, you want the program to find the product of that. So it's saying 2 times 3 times 5, and that value would be 30. Another example would be, okay, what if you entered in 50, 75, and 0? Your answer would be 0. I did an easy one there because it would be multiplying the 3 together. But your inputs can be different, and that controls the output. So what they want us to do here, we have this load default template is if you messed it all up and want to start over, you can just reload it. But they've coded the first 2 lines for us over here. Now we want to do the statement that'll read in the 3rd value. So that would be this one here. User number 3 equals input, and then we're converting it to int. I know we haven't covered that yet. we will more in chapter 2. So, and then, let's see, what do we want to do next? We want to, well, output, is what you see on the screen, but we need to do that background part that the computer processes, which is number, compute or do the product of that. So, user number 1 times 2 times 3. So we don't want to just
Right.
do
Yeah.
what this is doing, the output together with that. So, that's one way you could code it. Let's check.
That's it.
Yeah, another way, there that passed all the tests. Cool. Another way you could do it is you could do something like answer, in between there, you could do something like answer equals number 1 times number 2 times number 3, and then print answer. There's always more than one way to code even a simple program.
But that lets you put your own go in there?
Not in this one, but in the next example it will.
Okay.
So, down here, did you guys get that one here? We just moved these 2 boxes over here and then hit check.
That was the third of the.
Yeah, that was actually the only one that would fit. If we did, this one is the expression part, but it doesn't have a storage spot, so that wouldn't work.
User number 3 is equal.
That.
All right, user number 1, that's what, move over there, okay. Nope.
I couldn't drag that back off of there for some reason. So. And these things with the pound sign, that's just documentation, so we don't require that necessarily. All right, let's do a whole program. Oh, by the way, this is some more examples. So if this were our program and we entered 4, 5, and 8, the answer is 160. If you entered 2, 3, and 5, the answer is 30. If you do that on the calculator, that's exactly what the answers are. Not 1, 3. I don't want to do 1, 3, 4 together. I don't want to do that because that's a lot of sections, but I do get, I can help you guys on Wednesday if you need help with that one, but, see, let me look at it. Drag and drop. I'm gonna jump around again, so Gerald, jump. Errors. Basic syntax errors. There's so much information in here. It's really hard to cover all of it in one section, but it's important for you guys to read through that. And if you have any questions on any of this material as you go through participation and challenge, send me a message. I'm looking for the right one to do. And some sections are real small. White space. All right. I do sometimes get questions on this one. Those are tries, so try, and then. Okay, let's look at 118. Jumping way ahead to the green lab, 118. We'll jump back in a second, but this, when you find this, let me know. The green lab 118. 118.1. Okay, this one, this is an example of a complete lab, and each lab is worth 10 points.
I don't think I can edit mine maybe because I didn't pay for it.
I'm sorry.
What did you say? So I don't think I can edit mine.
Go ahead and close that window.
I literally made it.
Wait. Give me subscribe.
Oh, so I was wondering if.
Wait, here, so there. So
Yeah, is it giving you, it's giving me a little
here,
code.
can you click over there? You can click there.
Keep going.
Oh, you have hit undock. Does it say it's read only? Cannot edit and read only? Editor?
It says, please browse to this assignment through Blackboard.
Yeah, that's okay, you can do that later.
And you have the green thing.
Yeah.
It's just.
That at the beginning, earlier?
Those over here.
Like on the board.
Okay.
So maybe it was actually.
Yeah, it should be fine, but I think you have all of chapter 1.
I got some too, but I couldn't.
I think your issue with
Okay.
So the issue was you didn't have that column in that she's talking about?
Oh, okay.
Does it say read only, something about read only editor?
No.
Cannot edit and read only?
No.
She
She had a
probably didn't
different
open
issue.
it up.
She had a different issue. Said go through Blackboard.
Yeah, once you do that, it should go away.
Thank you, Sam. Look at you being a teacher in this class.
Did you find the whole?
Yes. Yep.
Have you seen this error? Cannot edit and read only.
Cool. Is it because she doesn't have the subscription?
Well,
Oh, yeah.
but you don't have the full subscription yet, do you? Will it let you type in that section?
Yes, got me all ready to go. Let me try.
Did you try to type it there?
Yeah, her issue with the she didn't have it.
I thought I went through the tunnel. That's what I did to get on.
Yeah, I'm typing and it's not doing anything, but let me type.
Why don't we close the whole browser and reopen it? Cause I'm pretty sure you can type
Everything.
in there with the temporary subscription.
He had me to reopen it a certain way, go through,
Blackboard.
Yeah.
or like the beginning, open it in the chapter and then go down to that one. And then open it.
Yeah, you guys wanna take a break? We can do that.
Why? It's not, it's harder for you than the other first two.
The training ones?
Yeah.
Maybe we should go back. We should probably go back. I was thinking that too.
Yeah,
This one is
when
easy.
you told us to jump ahead, I was like, oh, this one's so easy.
The training, okay, we'll do that. We can still take a break.
Yeah, he had me go that way. That's what opened it up for me to do it.
The base,
Yeah, that one was pretty, that took me a while.
this one, all right, because it's only worth 3 points too, but
I know.
it's supposed to teach you how zyBooks grades things and sets it up. So, but it's using for loops, which we don't even cover till the 4th chapter, or the 3rd chapter, and files. So we can do that.
So what is loops in the very more easier terminology? What I you said more step.
Yeah. So
Steps.
yep. So
Be able to get it.
a loop is anytime you want a piece of code to run multiple times. So
Oh,
if I'm
We're gonna try
if I'm taking in final or exam grades for the whole class, I would put that in a loop where I would say enter student 1's grade.
Oh,
and enter
all the way
student
to 3,800 if that was how many
Yep,
classes. Okay.
I would do that in a loop, and
Okay.
I only have like those 1 or 2 lines of code
Okay.
that's around a loop instead of having to code it many
Every time.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, that sounds cool. Yeah. A kid was telling me today that he was using it to go through his writing papers to edit different things without him physically.
Because hers
Yeah.
is the green.
Yeah,
No,
like
when
you
she
can
goes
search
down
for
the
a
paragraph,
word and
Yeah.
replace it that
Yeah.
way.
That's just there. I don't know. That's weird.
If anyone is still on Zoom, I'm
Never mind.
gonna try
I
to
don't want
pause
to
the
listen to
recording,
I just.
and we're gonna
watch
take
my-
like 10 minutes or so and take a break, and then I'll leave the Zoom open, but I'm gonna try to pause the recording so it's just not taking up space.
Hearing a bunch of chip chat.
Yeah. I don't even know. I hope the recording works.
Oh, okay. You can say.
Hey, how did you get into that? I'm like interested.
You want
What?
cybersecurity?
Yeah, but I signed up for the business program. And so now I'm like, I want to switch. How do I do that?
We're gonna switch.
I mean,
When the next
Yeah,
semester.
like I feel like if I switch fall, when would I?
well, I know some of for my degree, I need business classes, so you might transfer. I talked to your advisor,
I never could get a hold of that.
you just make an appointment, and then they call you.
Don't matter.
Well, I think because it's summer, she's like, I don't think she's.
There's something that you can do in your online login center where you can run scenarios.
Yeah.
Where it'll say like, if you change your degree, what does that mean? Like, how many other classes do you need to take?
Okay.
Budget report.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. I don't know
I think
exactly.
I know. I think I know.
Cause I want to program and I see it's a class I wanna take, then I change it, I don't even pay attention.
Yeah.
The thing is, I want to take this class first though, because I'm like, I suck. I don't want to go into cybersecurity and
Just not know nothing.
So I think cybersecurity is a challenging degree, and I think that it's, if you want to do a 4-year degree, you'll have a better job offers with cybersecurity if you do a 4-year compared to an associate's degree.
I was like, I think we have like a certificate.
Yeah,
At GRCC, that's what I was kind of.
I'll start.
yeah, that's a start. Yeah, but I think that certificate is good too if you're already working too in the field. But it's good to start, but you might get the same job with that you would get with like the network admin degree or something. Yeah, it's going to limit, it's pretty, you need more education to do really well in a field like that. Same with programming. Most programmers will go on for a 4-year degree. But other fields like network administration, that degree, you're good with 2 years. You can start working and really build up a good career after 2 years. Same with like the computer support specialist degree. That one is good with 2 years, but some are more geared toward a bachelor's too.
Okay, that's really good insight though, because I just thought I could like do the 2-year and then be in a work field, to be honest, with the cybersecurity. So, I'll do that.
Yeah, it's possible.
What's that meeting you sent us an email about?
Oh yeah, it's just a user group. I've never been there, but I'm going to go this time. It is on the 21st. They have let's see. They have a few different user groups around Grand Rapids, and Python is one that's pretty active. So they have monthly meetings. You don't have to, I don't plan on speaking. I just like want to sit in a corner and listen to what they have to say, but it's a group of people that have an interest in Python, and they talk about having special, sometimes they might have a hacking in Python or an introduction to Python, or they might have a specific topic, but they don't have anything on their meeting scheduled, like a topic for this upcoming July meeting. But it seems like if I were going to become a programmer, I would want to get into some, to know what other people in the area are doing. So that's why I think it's good to go if you're interested in programming. And it happens to be during our class time. So on that day, and it's at the factory downtown.
What factory?
I don't know. It's called the factory, meeting, like open meeting place.
Oh, okay. Oh, I think I know where that is.
I'm not sure.
I think it's right here on the corner.
It could be nearby.
Upstairs somewhere. I think I've seen it.
Yeah, it could be nearby. All right, let's finish up. I don't want to go too much longer. But let's go back. Let's not do that one. We'll go to 112 first, because that is harder, which is okay. For those of you who are watching later, if you can't type in this box, then that means you have a temporary subscription. We found this out. So go to get that 30-day, so you have the whole book. So you want to, for instructions on that, you can go to required materials and then this link here will tell you how to do that.
So if you do purchase it, how long is it active? Just to the end of this class, or is it 4 months or something?
It tells you when you buy, let me see. I put it out probably till the end of August. But let's see, I think I have it in here. But you can always call them and tell them that you want to use it for a few months. So you can, like, we only covered 6 chapters. You want to look at the other material, they will extend it for you for free.
Oh, okay.
They're really helpful. It tells me somewhere in here. Until September 14th.
Oh, okay. That's pretty good, I guess. Okay.
But they'll extend it for you too. All right.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
ideally, when you are tackling chapter 1 or any of the chapters, you want to do all the participation and challenges kind of together. They're mixed together, so from top to bottom. And then when you get done with all that, you have all this great knowledge and all your notes, and you're ready to go on to the labs. So then you'll go down to the green section, and chapter 1, I do have way more labs than the other chapters. There's usually only a few of them because there's some that are training labs, like quite a bit of them. The first 3 are, the first 3 are like how zyBooks works. And then there's one on output errors and formatting. And then these last 2 training labs, those cover the types of errors that you have in programming, which are logic errors or syntax errors. So it'll show you the difference between those 2. But they walk you through how to do it. But we'll start with 112. And then the labs where you just have the startup, like you're given a example and a problem to solve, that's really 120 and 121 are the 2 that I have assigned for this. But you do have to do all of them. The training ones you won't have in the other units. Those just show you how zyBooks works. This self-assessment at the end, you don't need to do that. You can if you want. It's similar to like what the quiz questions will be, and the quizzes are in Blackboard. But those points they're not on the grade sheet or anything. So let's jump to 112 training. So you coded this one already, Sam?
112, Sam.
Let me see. Well, all right.
I think.
Yes.
You didn't really have to code much to it, did you?
Technically no, but I mean, it is a little interesting to figure it out.
Yeah. This one, this particular lab here, it has interaction with outside files, and we don't even get that far in Python. That's really an advanced topic, but this program shows you how to interact with outside files, which you can do in a lot of other programs. Let me see what chapter it is in. We don't even cover it in a lot like Java or C++ or C#, it's chapter 14 in this book. So it's really down the list of advanced programming. But this is some basic interaction with files. And the point of the training labs are just to show you how zyBooks grades things. Because remember, you can use a compiler, an IDE like PyCharms or Spider, and you can code any program multiple ways, but you have to code it sometimes specific to how zyBooks checks things so that you get your points. So that's what the training labs are for, and it shows you how to do all that. So this one here, it shows you the functionality of the advanced labs. And I think all of our labs are set up on advanced. So it shows you your main box to code in and what the console box is and how to interact with that. So to start any lab, click on the page icon in the upper left of the zyLabs editor to open the files pane. This is helpful if you want to take some of these programs and code them in an outside compiler. You can save that .py file. So over here, we have the files. When we look at this, it's saying, click on the earmarked page icon right here in the upper left. That's here, and it says files. It lists all the files within the current workspace. Now, when you're working in an editor or an IDE, PyCharm, Spider, any editor for any programming language, they use terms like workspace, code files. These are things that are common everywhere. So you have all of these files. The code file has a certain extension. In Python, it's a .py file. In C++, it's CPP. HTML has that as an extension. Every code has its own extension. So Python, the .py file is the code file, but you also have other files in here that create an executable, which is the program that we're running. So I want you to know that this lab wants to know that if you want to see those files or download your code file, you can do that from the files icon. So notice main.py is padlocked. Got a lock on there. Those are read only. So we can't edit this file. Typically, our files aren't read only because we want to interact with them. We want to type something in there so that we can make changes to our program. But this is locked. In this example, we can't change it. And that's because, zyBooks codes some parts for us, and then we code the missing pieces. Also in other languages and this is done in the real world too, is there's a lot of code that we reuse. So we just access that code. We don't have to reinvent any wheels. We don't have to recode things that are already there. We just access it, that are built in something called libraries. So those are always locked down, so you can't mess up the language or the piece of code that you're working with. So that's showing you that this one is locked. Most of our PY files that we end up coding won't be locked because we code them. Now we're gonna click the plus icon here, and this is going to show us that we can create a new text file. So they want us in this lab to get our points. They want us to create this outside text file called hello.txt. So you hit the plus and then add that. When you hit enter, it'll create that file, and then you can see you can go between multiple files. And now it changed to 2. We don't, in the first 6 chapters, we don't have multiple files in our code, but as soon as you get to the chapter on classes and objects, they have you interact with multiple files. So that is like chapter 7 or 8, maybe. But with what we do, we're gonna code all within that one PY file. So here it says, open up this text file, and you can see we have multiple files. And then inside this text file, they want us to type hello. They want us to type something in here. So just a text file that we're going to have interact with our program. So they want us to put in the following phrase, hello, comma, world, exclamation point. So do that. So there are 3 points associated with this lab. So again, we hit the plus, and then we name the file hello.txt, and then we can go between our code, and here's our text, and in our text file, we want to type hello, comma, world, exclamation point. And then we can hit the run button. When we hit the run button, we can see if it works. So we have a console window at the bottom. I'll come around and make sure you guys are good, but
Well, I'd rather work my way down to it because I'm not really understanding it.
that's okay. You can do that. And this is recorded, so you can always go back to it too.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna, let's see, I hit run on my text file, so I'm gonna stop it and hit run again.
Yeah, mine says stop.
Yours says stop too?
Yeah, does that mean I'm wrong?
I don't know, let's see.
I think you have to press enter on the console.
Oh, it's waiting for input. That's right.
Oh, yeah, you have to text file. I love that.
Yeah, so this is one of the things that zyBooks doesn't do a great job of. It doesn't give you prompts where it says enter in the name of the file.
You say it up here at the top in the instructions. Type the name of the file.
Yeah, right here, but you can put it in the code, the prompt of the code, so that when you're looking at this console screen, you know what it's asking you to do. Otherwise, it's just saying, okay, how do we know what we're supposed? It's sitting there waiting for you to interact with it.
Oh.
And but you could give it a prompt. So here, our prompt, we don't have a prompt, and it's waiting for you to enter in the name of the file. So hello.txt, and then when you hit enter, what the code does is it goes out to that file, opens it up, grabs the contents of the file, and prints it to the screen.
You're wrong.
So that's, oh, wait, once you do that, you can hit submit. Well, I'm gonna get to that point in a second, but that is all explained right there. It is a little wonky, and you can go back to it. Yep.
But I'm not.
Now go down to your console window.
I don't want
So
to-
you got the code and you got your text, so go down here.
I don't
Now this is where,
go through it. much.
yep, you click on there. This is where you interact with it. So what it tells you above is to enter in the name of the text file, which is hello.txt. So type that and then hit enter.
I did.
Yep, and then
So
so what
we
it did is it went out there, grabbed it, and then printed it.
Yeah. Wrong.
Now, yep, and it works, you didn't get any errors, so now you can pass them to grading. And when you do that, it will, if you scroll down a little bit, it will show you
Well,
if it
they're only
passed or
6.
failed, and then your points.
What,
So
the
that
last?
worked.
6
You had no
module.
fail, it worked.
Right,
So then
but
you
it's
go on to
one
the
mark
next
for each week.
which we'll do
Right.
together. So when you read all that, this particular lab is showing you how to interact with multiple files, how to enter it into the console, and then when you're done, when you have it finished, you hit submit for grading. The labs, you do that, you have to do that for the lab. And what it will do is show you any errors that you might have, or if it's correct. If it's correct, it'll say passed all the tests, and you got your score, and then that will turn green. There's that green I've been looking for, the green check mark. So that lab's done. Then you can go on to the next one. So we'll look at a more of an interactive console, and this is just one file in lab 113. And this one is more of like what we looked at already with the age thing. So maybe this one will make more sense. So let's look at this one here.
So the labs, when I finish them, they're not showing up how the participation's with 100% or how the challenges say that they're done as you're going. But the labs just still say 0. And then when I go back to look at my grade, I do have the grade form.
In Blackboard?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just I don't get the complete on that checklist.
I'll look at it. I might have something wrong in the assignment. Like it might have, the points might be mismatched. It's pretty particular. Before you shut down your computer, let me look at yours. I might be able to easily spot it. Okay, now this lab is an interactive console lab. We're gonna do this with a lot of our programs. That's where our program has the code on the background, and then we have a user that's interacting with it, where it's entering things. Here, and this is just a training lab, we have the console window is below the editor. So again, we have the editor where we type our code, and then once we run our code, below that we have our console window, and that's where the user interacts with it. So we have those two windows. You know, if you need help from me and you want to text me something, you know, I can look at your code, or you can to help figure out what's wrong, or I can look at the console to see what output you're getting. You won't get any output if you have syntax errors. If I've given the command wrong in my code, in my PY file, if my code is wrong, it won't run anything in the console. It won't get that far. So you have to fix your errors before you can get there. So we have our console window, which is our output, and then the code, which is our PY file. So in this one, the program in this lab prompts the user to enter an input value for X and outputs double that value. So we enter in a number, we multiply that number by 2, and we print it, and then the programmer prints that number to the screen. So we're going to click run, enter in 5 in our console window, and see if it displays the correct results. All of these steps just show you what it's doing. So I'm going to hit run. This is what I mean by a prompt. You know that first program where it said it doesn't ask us to enter in the name of the file? Here, this console shows us that it has a prompt. And now it makes it easier for the user of the program to know what it's to do. So once you hit run, now it says, oh, they want me to enter in a number for X. I mean, it could be more specific, but let's say it wants us to enter in 5. So we'll hit 5, and then you hit enter. And then the program does the multiplication in the background, and then it prints X doubled is 10, prints it to the screen. That's program interaction. And the first chapter, I think, is the hardest for new programmers to understand that we have our code that the programmer does, and then we have the user interacting with it. Now this, once we submit it, this will give us multiple tests because it wants us to run multiple test options. So when I submit it first, I only have 1 out of 3 because I didn't finish it, and I have some failed tests. So how you use zyBooks is you read these test options to see what you've done wrong. So you can go, oh, this is what it did, but it's expecting this. So you need to read, like, you need to read your expected output to finish solving the problem. So as I'm reading this program here, and again, you can go back to it, but it says, okay, I clicked run, okay, I did the 5 and then I doubled it to 10. I did submit for grading, and then it says, it'll run 3 tests. zyBooks runs 3 tests against your code, and it passed the first test, but it failed the last 2. So my first test works because this is what my output is, this is what is expected. So my output is compared to the background of zyBooks. And it says, notice the content of the test result 2 is different from what is displayed. It's double. The user input's value 5 is missing from the test result. So since the console serves as an interactive medium, we're comparing the outputs. Helicopter. So they just want you to finish out this code to enter in a value for y, and then print the sum of that. So it'll say, complete the program to prompt the user to enter in a value for y, and then output the sum of y. So we can do that together. Because right now we only have 1 out of 3 points. So we want to go back to our code, and we want to leave everything that's there so far, but now we want to enter in a y value, and we want to do the rest of this. So we want it to match that. So our output window matches zyBooks. So we're going to go down to line 6. And we'll do a print statement here. Enter y colon. And then you enter in a value by saying y equals int, and we're converting it to, or we're doing an input, but we're converting it to an integer. We do go into that with chapter 2, like what the input statements mean, and integers and strings and stuff like that. We go into that more with chapter 2. And then I want to do my print statement, bless you, so that it matches what my expected output is, which is the sum of x and y is, and then I want to do a comma. How do I know this? I learned this in the participation. So then here I'll just do x plus y. Then I can run it, test it, and see if I got my full points. So here I'll put in 5, and then I'll put in 48 for y. Oops. So 5 is the same, x doubled is 10, then I enter in y, and then I say the sum of x plus y is 53, which is true, which is correct. It looks like I spelled something wrong. that should probably error out, and I wouldn't get my full points, because all zyBooks is doing is comparing screen to screen, but I just made a typo. So, you know, you can hit submit for grading as many times as you want. And then when you don't have all your points, you go back and you see what you did wrong. You look at your expected output. Here, I didn't even realize I did that. I spelled some wrong, so I'm gonna correct that. And then run it again. And that's what you do as a programmer. You code something, test it. It's called a programming cycle, life cycle, a coding cycle. You code something, you test it. Code something, you test it. When you put it into production and then people find errors, that's where you get like version 1 of a software, version 2 of a software. Because you release the software and you go, this software is great. And then you have a million people running it and they find problems. Then the programmers make changes to it and release the next version. They fix something or something happens. So now I'm gonna run it. I'll enter in 5 and 48 again. And I'll submit for grading to see if my code is correct now. I got 3 out of 3, good to go. But that's a interactive program. We'll do one last, 118, and then we'll be done. Okay, no problem. The last program is that Hello World. That's the first program. That's just output. So these are just these training programs. You know, go through the rest of those, but the one I started with is 118. That's the Hello World program. This is more of those first training programs give you a lot of information, but this is what most of the programs look like. They'll have a problem and you're going to code it. So it says, write a program that outputs hello world exactly as that, as shown below, for all labs and with a new line. So we're going to just write a simple print statement that prints hello world, run it. If we think it's correct, we'll hit submit. And then watch all of our points populate the Blackboard or Canvas gradebook. So here, I'm just gonna do a quick print statement. This will print automatically includes that new line. So print hello world, whoops. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. World. And now I have to put the exclamation, I have to put the capitals, so it matches line by line, and then I hit run. There's my first code. I don't have any interaction, so there's no input. My output looks right. If I think I'm right, I'm gonna hit submit for grading, and then I'm gonna check my test results. 10 out of 10, good. If you don't get 10 out of 10, that's when you go back, look at your code, see what you did, make corrections, so on.
And submit again.
And submit again. Yep. So that's all. Let me come look at your thing. Your point thing. But Wednesday, we'll have just lab time the whole time. So if you don't have time to work on anything before that, no problem.